What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Other Side of the Firewall, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Times.
What's up? What's up?
And LeVon Maynard.
Hey, welcome to the show.
What is going on? So again, make sure you tuning into us throughout the week. Yesterday we had some smack talk about Apple, my beloved company. Today we're going to talk about another article which harkens back to some stuff we talked about in the past. Wednesday, please tune in for our reintroduction. So we're over 100 episodes now, so we want to make sure we reintroduce ourselves to the community. Some of you are still here, some of you have moved on, and we have new people, but we just want everybody to know who we are, what we do. And then Friday, definitely tune in where we talk about everything but cybersecurity. So that's always a fun time. So without further ado, I pass it to Shannon.
All right. So ReVil, their ugly head is back again, right? So this is an article from threatpost.com. It's called ReVil Sodinokibi, Ransomware Universal Decryptor Key is out. And it's by Lisa Voss. I hope I'm saying that right. VAAS. Bitdefender worked with law enforcement, and they created it's like a universal decryptor key to people that have been victims of ReVil, right? So like, remember it was a few months ago, I think it was July, all of a sudden ReVil, they kind of went offline after they went out there and started, making all their money and doing their thing. And we all had our reasons on what happened, our beliefs on what happened. I think we went out there and got them, but apparently that may not be the case, because as of this week, actually, they were back up again. They were back on the happy post, I think is what it was. They were on their post and saying, hey, they were being cautious, but neither here nor there, right? So Bitdefender, they released a free universal decryptor key for, like I said, for victims of for organizations that were victim to ReVil, that allows them to get their information back, right? This is the real deal. This is the real thing. It's not like this is one of those one of those things where people put it out there. They're like, oh no, this is the fix, and it turns out they got you again. Like, we got you. It's too good to be true, because it was too good to be true. But Bitdefender, the company, does stand by this. Say, no, this is the real deal. And what happened is they got their hands on a master key. Pretty much is what they call it. That allows you to unlock all the ReVil attacks that occurred. Over the last several months. Like if you were a victim to that, you could go in there, unlock your stuff, and be good to go and go back to operating as normal if you haven't already recovered your stuff, right? Like some of that stuff has happened several months ago, where it's like, if you're still crippled now, it's kind of like, I don't know if this is really doing anything for you, because you're out of business now anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, they put it out there on a site for you to download it. Bitdefender has a post out there for you to do it, right? But this is cool. Like, I like to see this, right? So it's one of those things where don't let the bad guys win, and this is how you do it. You know what I'm saying? Is put the fix out there for everybody to have that may have suffered from what they did. So, but yeah, no, this is a good thing. Hopefully this makes ReVil go back in the hole, right? Seeing that they can't make any money off these people like they thought they were. But LeVon, what you think about this, man?
Yeah, I agree. Right. I agree right with you on that one. It seems like it's a good thing. It's overall. I mean, as far as being able to, actually get this decryption key in hand and be able to like decrypt any kind of encryption that they put into place on these companies. And I'm sure, I'm curious about how many organizations were able to kind of take advantage of this. But nonetheless, it's good to see that these like security companies are actually able to, kind of circumvent these ransomware attacks. Hopefully they can kind of branch out and kind of follow along with any other like groups out there that end up, deploying some ransomware, software on other companies' resources. But I just think it's like, it's great to see. I mean, it's I don't think I have a whole lot to say about it, but it's just nice to see that the kind of the victims are becoming a little bit more not necessarily the victims, but these companies are able to put together some software to help combat these ransomware attacks. Because as we talked about before, we've seen these ransomware has become like more prevalent. It's been like a little bit since the last big ransomware attack. I kind of wait daily to see what the next big one's going to be, but you never know. And hopefully, like something like this is in place that can hopefully, counteract that attack and just kind of get the whatever company gets affected up sooner than later. Because these companies are just, I mean, these hackers are, they pretty much stay on their computers day in and day out looking for the next victim and looking for the next opportunity, try to make some money. So the more that we can get in front of this, the better. And hopefully that, this kind of builds into something that's a little bit more, maybe they have I know we kind of joked about it before, but maybe kind of like a decryption as a service, and they can kind of make it into like its own kind of like category where they know these hackers, they know their style, they know their techniques, and they're able to figure out, how to develop these decryption keys. And I'm sure just it's a matter of them using some developed software that can maybe run some some high level like computing and analytics to kind of figure out what the decryption keys should be. But who knows how long that'll take? Who knows how easily they can do this in the future with other ransomware attacks? But it's a good thing overall, and I'm hoping to see more of that. But Ryan, what you have on this?
Yeah, same. I definitely agree. It's good to see. But be careful, because I'm sure there'll be some fakes out there. Some people going to try to take advantage of this. Go to Bitdefender's actual post there to pull your key, because I'm sure there will be someone who tries to take advantage of a bad link or a key that actually encrypts instead of decrypts or something. Like people will be people, right? So just make sure that you're going about it safely, going to the right sources to grab your stuff. With that being said, though, like ransomware as a service is not going to go anywhere. Like people see that you can make money. However, like you said, like hopefully, we're getting to a level where it's spy versus spy, where you can create a ransomware, but someone else is also simultaneously, creating some universal key to decrypt people, so they don't have to pay $70 million ransoms and things of that nature, or just be inconvenienced because ReVil just disappeared, right? So you could even have a chance at one point to pay them. Your stuff was just locked, and you had to come up off the backups if you had them, because ReVil was no more. Apparently, they have resurfaced to a certain degree, but the article says that they don't believe it's the ReVil of the past. This is like the B or C team trying to make some money off of the product that was already made, but now there's a key for it, so that's great. I'm hoping in the future, like maybe we get to a point where machine learning or something like that can help people out a little bit quicker. Obviously, just a process to come up off your backups faster would also help you out. So that way, you can enact your business continuity plan quicker to get you to a point where you don't have to necessarily pay the ransom. There's also warm and hot sites. So everybody can't afford that though. But if you had a hot site and they took down site A, but site B was unaffected because it wasn't connected to the same systems at the same time, then maybe you could just come right back up. But obviously that's a very expensive solution to duplicate all your servers and your VMs and all that stuff somewhere else. But the future holds things we don't know about yet. Maybe there'll be some AWS solution or some Azure solution or something like that can spin you up pretty quick. But right now, none of that stuff is as expedient as not being ransomed. So obviously, teach your people, to not click certain links, to not do certain things. Make sure you don't have any insider threats, or people don't have access to things they shouldn't have access to. Like user accounts don't have privileges that can be escalated to the point where they can get to some very important data. We saw the other day, we talked about there's a supposed Nigerian scam where they're actually trying to get people to be insiders. Like, we will pay you a portion of the ransom. How much is your company worth? here, slip this in. We will encrypt their stuff. So you got to keep your people happy, right? You got to make sure you vet your people appropriately, and then you have to make sure that you have incentive to keep working for you. So you don't create insiders of your own, or it could even be as benign or not benign, actually, as a physical attack. Like you make somebody mad enough, and you don't have the proper offboarding protocols. He or she might go in that comm closet, cut some wires. So there's a whole, that should be an industry in itself of how to keep your employees happy and to keep your services up and running so they can't get in there and disrupt VMs or physical hardware and things of that nature. But in this case, most of these attacks are happening because they're able to get into a more benign system like the payroll system or something like that, and spread the ransomware and encrypt all your stuff. So try to avoid that at all possible. And also, I think the last piece of it would be threat hunting. So if you can get somebody on the team who can actually go in there and discover these vulnerabilities and discover these actual threats that are taking place closer to real time, it'll save you a lot of time and effort, because they usually don't come in a day and hit you with ransomware. It's days of them scouting and doing reconnaissance and hopping from system to system, escalating their privileges to finally get to something worth encrypting, and then encrypting that data. So the quicker you can find them and stop the persistent threats, the better off you'll be in general. So that's also a good place to start. So get yourself a CISO or vCISO or what have you, and assemble your team, right? And you'll be a lot safer. So that way you won't have to decrypt stuff. But in this case, if you were infected and you were impacted by this at any point, go out and get the real key from Bitdefender, from their website, and follow their instructions. So that way you don't get hemmed up by another would-be attacker giving you a bad key. So said a lot right there. Hopefully some of it was good info for you and your company. Hopefully you were not impacted by this at all. And just stay safe. Like we say it a lot, but make sure your people are trained to the best of their ability. If you're doing some kind of work at home situation, try to vet their equipment and make sure they're using safe practices. And then just spend the money and resources to have the right people on your team. Don't be cheap and not find somebody to take care of you. If you can't afford a CISO and a team on premises, find yourself a vCISO and some people who can work remotely to protect your stuff and to give you a good strategy moving forward for your type of company. So anything else on this one?
I think you covered it all.
Yeah, we got it all. Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, I had to get it out. I had to get off my chest.
I was gonna say, it sounded like you had some bottled up aggression towards this ransomware group.
Yeah, man, keep getting people. I'm sick of it.
That's true.
Tired of it.
That's true.
But thank you, Shannon. Thank you, LeVon. It's always a good conversation. I appreciate it. And then please continue to stay tuned, because as you can see, these things just continue to evolve. Like the Monday's episode was also an evolution of something we talked about that was a lot smaller, but made it into the big Apple ecosystem. And then today, we've been talking about ransomware since we started. That was one of our first articles, and ReVil has been a pain in people's sides for upwards of a year or more now. And even though they're gone, there's still a headache, right? So we still have to decrypt the stuff that they left behind. So yeah, just keep continuing to tune into us. I think this shows a lot to our credibility. Like we are finding good articles and trying to explain it to you and then showing you the aftermath of what happened. So I'm sure more stuff like this will happen in the future. Also tune in for Wednesday where we do our reintroduction. So normally we do a discussion on Wednesdays. This will be more discussion about ourselves and what we do for a living and why you should listen to us. So, and then obviously Friday is everything else. So if you don't necessarily want to hear our opinions on cyber, but you want to hear it about movies, video games, literature, all that good stuff, tune in. Like we talk about that stuff as well. Sometimes cyber creeps in a little bit, but I ain't studying this week, so you ain't gonna worry about it from me. That is not on my agenda. But hit up the website, www.theothersideofthefirewall.com, where you get to our social medias. Hit me up personally at RyRy Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. I am on Clubhouse, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok. And you, LeVon?
Hit me up on the Twitters at LeVon Maynard.
There it is. Stay safe, stay secure.
Take care.